are back with another jam-packed episode of Lunes Live. The second week of the NFL season is almost over with. Your favorite Compas got you covered with everything from that week to our takeaways. The Rams go down to Nashville. They take care of business. You know what I heard? You know what y'all heard. Obviously, the two biggest stories have to do with the AFC West, just because the Broncos lose at the end of their game against the Colts. We'll get into that. And was that fair or foul? And then obviously the shoe is now on the other foot. Kansas City is the one crying wolf, saying, hey, they're screwing us. They're screwing us out of all these games. They screwed us against the Chargers. They screwed us against the Eagles. The NFL's against us. But are they really? We'll get into that. And then Gilbert, agarra la virgencita, turn on your little candle, because quarterbacks are going down in a hurry. But we'll get into all that stuff. But all right, Gilberto, do you have an engagement question for our viewers and or listeners?
Yeah, you know what? I've been thinking about this one. It's very random, Fernando, too. But did anybody win the 2023 trade between the Bears and the Panthers? Both teams suck. Bryce Young is terrible. Caleb Williams is not any better. Did anybody win that trade? Let me know in the comments, because these are the two slowest rebuilds in the NFL. Ryan Poles gets a 3-year extension for doing what exactly, Fernando? Yeah, who won that trade? It's on my mind. It's on my radar, but these two teams stink. It's been 2 years. Come on. Somebody win the trade, please.
Is Danny Dimes starting to turn into Danny Dollars? Ooh.
Danny Dimes is better than Caleb Williams and Bryce Young, so yeah. Jeez.
By the way, yesterday Dan tells me what's going to happen, and I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it's the Gilberto Bowl. It's his Panthers versus his Cardinals.
Yeah.
He's like, he must be so conflicted in this game.
For the record, I ditched the Panthers last week in week 1. When I saw them have that stinker against the Jaguars from our team, by the way, I was out.
All right. Charger fans, we know you're in here. Matthew, Brett, Angie, Rob G, all you guys. We're going to get to Chargers really quick. We're going to do a quick mini preview. But first, Gilbert, the one team that did play from LA are the Rams. They ended up settling 33-19 over the Tennessee Titans, who seem like they're not going to go down easy. They're feisty. They're a feisty group. They had it they had a lead going into halftime, 13-10. Rams come out, tie the game up. Titans take over the lead, and then obviously Matthew Stafford and that Rams offense got going. The most interesting part to me, Gilbert, Puka Nacua showing he can do it from both sides. I think it was like 4th and 2, 4th and 3.
Yeah.
He takes a handoff, takes it 45 yards for a touchdown. Devontae Adams got going, 6 catches, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. Puka also added to those 45 yards, 8 catches for 91 yards. It seems like in the second half, they started, Matthew Stafford started spreading the ball around. I thought that was, that's going to be key, obviously, with all the weapons that they have. But what did you make of this game?
Yeah, because they were playing the Tennessee Titans, and it's not really a game you could take much from, because the Titans are terrible. I'll say this: the Rams are a physical team, and when I know people won't believe this take here, but when the Eagles are making the Chiefs from all teams look helpless at the line of scrimmage, when it's 3rd and short, the Eagles look like a little small school team from junior varsity or from Dan and Dago's 8-man league from back in the day. Sorry about that, Dan. But the Rams, they're a physical team. Like I'm very excited to see. It's week 3. I kind of hate this early showdown, but Eagles and the Rams seem to be two physical teams. And do the Rams have a chance to stop the tush push? I don't know, but I'll say this: that defense set the tone, because without Byron Young's strip sack on Cam Ward, that could have been a trap game. That could have easily been a game where you let Tennessee hang around for a bit and it's a 1-score game. Like the Cardinals did it with the Panthers. Like they went up 27-3 and they couldn't put that team away until the final minute. So for the Rams to do that and avoid that says a lot to me on the road. I know they're playing a crappy team, but then also they fed off of the defensive energy. Like you mentioned, Matthew Stafford getting Devontae Adams going. The Puka Nacua play came early in the game. That one doesn't really count. But Stafford and Puka and Devontae are rolling. The running game is doing well too, Fernando. So for me, they are moving in the right direction, beating up on a bad team, and getting ready for a big Week 3 showdown. This team could show a lot next week. If they beat the Eagles, maybe they are a top 5 team in the league. I'm not ready to say that, Fernando, but they're showing some signs of that.
You're talking about the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. That
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
So,
no, their front four is vicious, and your front four is going to make a lot. Is going to do a lot. Is going to cover up a lot of holes, especially like we saw back in the JJ Watt years with the Texans. Their back 4 or 5 weren't that very good, but it was the JJ Watt effect. Vince Wilfork was there for a little bit as well, so that's going to cover up a lot. But man, that front four, I just saw them. I thought they went at Cam Ward more than the Broncos did. Like, I feel like they got to Cam Ward a lot more than and they disrupted him a lot more than the Broncos were able to. That touchdown throw that Cam had to
Ayo Maynor.
Ayo Maynor. Yeah, Ayo Maynor. That was a great throw and everything, but that's not going to work next year. I mean, right now it's going to work.
Why are people praising that play just because he got it off and completed?
Really
that's a play you should have made as a rookie, but he got lucky.
He had enough arm strength to put it in there, but
that's impressive. But in a game, usually 8 times out of 10, that's a pick.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So that kind of play you shouldn't be making. It seems like they got a little bit out of Tony Pollard. I really think that once the Rams are able to get this running game going, because I mean, Kyron Williams 3.9 average, that's fine. But once they kind of get it going consistently, Blake Corum was the one that kind of had the hot hand. 5 attempts, 44 yards, 8.8. He had the rushing touchdown. So again, we all know what this Rams team is. They're coached by a very good coach in Sean McVay. It's a better start right now, 2 games in than they had in the beginning 5 games of the season last year. So they're already off to a good start. And like you said, they get to go to Philly next, and they get to play the Eagles. Man, that's a 10 a.m. game. That's gonna suck.
Yeah, with the schedule here.
I don't know, but
hey, but sometimes the best games are in the early window. Those Cowboys and Giants, man. Who would have thought? Did you freeze or did I freeze? Okay, I guess I froze.
No, I froze. It was me.
Okay. Yeah. Usually it's me, Fernando. That's fine. But I was confused. I'm like, damn, Fernando did not like Cowboys Giants. It's a thriller game all over again.
No. It was a good game. I couldn't believe. I think was it Malik Neighbor? One of them started celebrating like goodbye or like doing something stupid, and I'm like, dude, there's still a lot of game left. So, and then Jerry's all excited and that's we're signing Jadeveon Clowney. And so that was.
That's what I think about that signing. I could play edge rusher for that team.
They were making it like, breaking news, Jadeveon Clowney. I'm kind of like, okay, like he would have been on a team already. Like,
what took so long? At least to get some help. Jeez.
Yeah, I guess. All right. So, what? That Eagles game is going to be really interesting with the Rams, just because the Rams added firepower, and the Eagles secondary, even though they played well against the Chiefs, who have like almost no weapons, they're going to struggle, I think, against this Rams passing attack.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's like sometimes football is not that complicated, and the Eagles just dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides. When you have Jalen Carter back on the defense, and the offensive line balled out in that Chiefs matchup. So, again, I don't want to crown the Rams too soon. They are physical, but are they big enough to stop, the tush push or Saquon or Jalen Hurts? Are you patient enough? Do you have the discipline to know where the ball is going to go? That's the thing. Like, it's not pretty football, but when you got, the backfield monster of Hurts and Saquon, and then you could throw the ball to AJ Brown and Devontae, like, it's just so much to think about. But again, it's week 3. I don't know how much this game is going to tell us, but it's going to really show that the Rams do enough in the offseason, because I've been critical of this Rams front office for not having talent at secondary, just kind of paying cheap prices for linebackers. They might have gone to Jim and Nate Landman, Nate Landman, the Landman, not from the show that Jerry Jones was in for 30 minutes, and we all bragged about it anyways. But I just don't know if they did enough in the offseason to beat the Eagles? Like, is that the team that has their number? Like, the Eagles have the Chiefs number. Do they also have the Rams number? And we'll find out next week.
Speaking of Chiefs, we'll get to the Chiefs game and the Broncos game, but real quick, tonight, Monday Night Football, Chargers at Raiders. Tom Brady just made a huge announcement. Gilbert is coming out of retirement.
I don't care about flag football. I don't care about Tom Brady. Sorry, I know this whole show I'm just saying I don't care about this and that and bashing people, but like, I get it. Saudi Arabia has money, but like, are we gonna make football now into the joke that boxing has become with Jake
That's
Paul
where
and
it's
just
going
pay
next.
for Mike Tyson to fight everybody who's, you know, what, 20 years old and he's at 80? Like, are we just doing that, throwing out money to the old timers so we could relive the past? I don't get it. I don't get this generation.
Gilbert, I heard rumors over the weekend that at WrestleMania 43, The Rock versus Roman in Saudi, The Undertaker could be coming back. CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, which actually that one's the most intriguing one just because of the mic. I want to know. I want to see both of them shoot.
I think we should just move to Saudi Arabia. Let's go to Riyadh and find the house there.
Okay, I'm down.
And cover everything.
If it's good enough for Cristiano Ronaldo, it's great enough for us.
Is that really his home, or he just plays there?
Well, no, he just plays there. I think he lives in Madrid full time. I also heard that supposedly John Cena's retirement might be. He might come out of retirement. Hasn't even retired yet, and they're already talking about him possibly being there for that match.
Am I just a spoiled American that wants everything here, or is this just fair for the world to get other attractions?
I think it's just going to be now Saudi Arabia, Vegas, back and forth. Saudi Arabia, Vegas. Saudi Arabia,
All right,
Vegas.
think of us. Come on, Saudi.
I know, for real. All right, Gilbert, obviously a big game tonight. Why is it a big game? The Chiefs lost to the Eagles. The Broncos last second lose to the Indianapolis Colts and Danny Dollars. And now all of a sudden Monday night turns even into a bigger it turns into a bigger game because the Chargers are 1-0, the Raiders are 1-0. Big game for both teams. Obviously Jim Harbaugh said, all the old school coaches like Pete Carroll, all these guys, they say the same thing. If you're 1-0 in the division, you're actually 2-0. If you're 2-0 in the division, you're 3-0. So, or 4-0 actually, I think is what they say. They say a divisional game counts for 2.
Yeah, twice.
Gilbert, give me Indiana Jones, Boltillo. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, Gilbert, real quick. Boltillo says, Gilberto, I need 19.1 from Lad tonight to win my fantasy matchup. What do you think?
Oh, okay. I say it's not the worst spot to be in. It could be a little tough. That's a lot of points there. But if you're in PPR, you should be okay. I bet Lag gets 8 catches, maybe 100 yards. That's still even close. He would get 18 points right there. But it's doable. How about that, Boltillo 93? I'll give you some hope there. And PPR, hopefully you have it. I think you have a good chance.
So give me one key for each team to come out with a victory tonight.
Yeah, I love that Justin Herbert got unleashed in week 1 for the Chargers, but I wouldn't mind if they went back and ran the football pretty heavily against the Raiders. And I think that's more of a compliment to the Raiders offense. I think Geno Smith has something going in Las Vegas. I do want to see what he does to, counter a Jesse Mentor defense. Going up against without Christian Gonzalez in New England and Mike Vrabel's defense is one thing. But how about Jesse Mentor's defense that already has a rhythm? They were pretty good last week in Brazil. Can you do something? But for the most part, maybe don't even, tempt, Geno Smith to get into a shootout. Run the football, control the clock. Maybe Najee Harris' vision is improved in week 2. I think Jim Harbaugh has mentioned that Najee's going to have a better workload in week 2. Omari Hampton can recover from a so-so week 1 NFL debut. So to me, run the football, be physical, control the line of scrimmages, and then also control the clock where you don't let Geno get going. And I know Brock Bowers is also shaky, but if he's healthy, Brock, just playing 2-man game with Brock Bowers and Geno, that could also be a lot of trouble for this team here. I'm expecting a shootout, but then again, maybe it won't happen because if they run the football, not a bad thing to do either.
I was on a radio show earlier, and they asked me, is this the Charger? It was that Greg Roman saying, okay, it's time. We're just going to unleash Justin Herbert. I said, I would hold on a little bit on that. I think it's going to be a week by week basis. Like last week. And this is what I said. Steve Spagnuolo said during the week, they asked him, why were you so concentrated on being in the box? He's like, we thought the Chargers were just going to run the football. That's why we decided to sell out, and we decided to go and stack the box. And then they started beating us through the air, and we just had no answer for it. So I feel like that's the thing. The Chargers are kind of at that point now where you can attack teams with either one. You can attack them with the run, you can attack them by the pass, but now you're really a dual threat. It's not like it was last year where you knew the only way they were going to beat you is if Justin Herbert threw. So that's a good spot to be in. But I definitely agree with you. I think tonight we could see a little bit more of a run, because last week the Patriots abandoned the run at one point. And we all know Jim and Greg Roman will not abandon the run at all. So I definitely think that we could definitely see one of those guys. I think Omarion. I picked in my article that I wrote, I picked Omarion to be the my fantasy player of the week. I put Omarion Hampton because I thought, I thought they're gonna give him. They're gonna get. I saw some stuff last week, like on the 4th and 1. He was a little bit of a wiggle away from kind of trying to escape that, and then there was his first carry of the game. It was near the red zone. And again, another wiggle away from being able to get away. So I was impressed. I know he only had 48 rushing yards, but I was impressed by him. But all right, give me a key for the Raiders.
Yeah, a little similar to what I said already about the Chip Kelly offense and Geno Smith operating. How about you jump out to an early lead where you get to dictate the terms of the game plan? If you jump out to a surprising 10-0 lead, maybe the Chargers are not running the football as much. Maybe the Chargers are more predictable, or you let Max Crosby go to work a little bit. He has to face Joe Alto. That's very tough. That's a good matchup to see.
I think he's going to be on Trey Pipkins.
Oh, yeah? Trying to avoid it? Yeah, okay.
There's no way he's going to jump to that other
regardless, they're going to have options to have Max Crosby attack Herbert if they jump out to a 10-point lead. If they don't, it could be a long day for that defense, and, they get picked apart. But if Geno's, making it work with Brock Bowers, even if Brock Bowers is not 100%, Fernando, throw Jacoby Myers, have Bowers be maybe a decoy to get some good matchups. And, people don't know the names yet, Fernando, with the Raiders, but I think they have a good depth at the skill players. We'll see if they get to have the deep ball with Trey Tucker, Thornton Jr., the rookie, the 4th-round pick, maybe Jack Best or something, the 2nd-round pick. Maybe your boy, the second tight end, Michael Mayer, does something with Brock Bowers injured. They have a lot of skill players, and not just guys who do the same thing. They have an abundance of playmakers in different styles. So Chip Kelly's offense, are you the real deal? Geno Smith, are you the real deal in Las Vegas? Go out and beat a Jesse Minter defense. Let's see what you could do.
I know that when speaking to Paul over the weekend, there is a little bit of concern that Jackson Powers Johnson isn't going to play. I saw the video where he allegedly gave himself a concussion during practice, and you're like, holy crap. He just smacks into it and he kind of goes like that. And you're like, oh, wow. So, so that's going to be interesting to watch how their offensive line is able to respond, because I know that they allowed Geno to get rushed. He took a couple sacks last week, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, those the no-name stuff is exactly what Pete did in Seattle when he first got there. Not a lot of people knew exactly who the players were. I mean, everybody knew Earl Thomas, but nobody knew some of the other players that he was bringing in. He took a chance on a cornerback that was a receiver when he first got to Stanford, and then turned him into an all-pro cornerback in Richard Sherman. So the other thing is Jacoby Myers.
He was still in Seattle, like Tyler Lockett and Doug Baldwin.
Yeah.
A bunch of random guys that just balled out for Russell.
Exactly. Doug Baldwin and all those guys. Yeah, no, exactly. Lastly, Jacoby Myers went off on the Chargers last year in that final game of the season. So if you're the Chargers, you're going to have to keep him down. If not, he's dangerous. He proved it last week against his old team, and now I'm sure he's going to try and prove it tonight against the Chargers. So that'll be interesting. Both QJ and him had big games last time these two teams both played. Let's see who replicates it. All right, let's move over now to the Eagles. They hold on to beat Kansas City 20-17. It was more like 20-10 final minutes. The Chiefs score towards the end to make it a closer game. They did that with Jalen Hurts only throwing for 101 yards. We've all heard the video of Chris Jones being like, you only threw for 100 yards, or not even 100 yards. And he's like, well, we still won the game. Saquon rushes for 88 yards in this game as well. So not that much of explosive plays. Gilbert, you would have thought if you were at my house that the Chargers were playing, because Dan was EAGLES eagling the whole time. He's like, but It's so funny. He turns to me, he goes, Fernando, let me ask you a question. If my quarterback threw for only 100 yards, he's like, would my team have won the game? And I'm like, I don't believe so. He's like, exactly. That's because big time quarterbacks step up when their team needs them. And so he just was talking crap. He's like, this guy, he's like, AJ Brown's gonna punch him in the face. And I just started laughing. I'm like, yeah, there was once or twice where AJ just looked at him and he was pissed.
Well, Dan's lucky he's not saying that in front of me because at least Jalen Hurts does it in January and February, but who cares about that, right?
Wow. That's crazy.
I'd rather have a guy who makes 100 yards passing to win the games all the time. I don't care, but yeah.
That's what I was talking about with I can't remember who I was talking about it with, but he didn't have that good of January. It was just that Super Bowl where they decided to take away Saquon and he said, okay, bombs away. Let me show you what I got. So it was pretty impressive to see his performances in the Super Bowl. But what I'm talking about,
isn't that kind of concerning for the Chiefs that Chris Jones is saying, like, well, who cares if that you won? Like, you only had 100 yards. Like, who gives a crap?
There's a lot going on with him and Travis. I mean, one of the big plays from the game was Travis pumped up a ball
that's 2 weeks in a row now.
Huh?
That's 2 weeks in a row. The interception this week and then hurting Xavier Worthy. Like, he's hurting that team. Like, more ways than one.
And last week, towards the end of the game, he missed when they kicked the field goal instead of scoring the touchdown. He didn't stretch out enough to grab a ball that he would have walked into the end zone after they played on Derwin. So I completely agree. That's 2 weeks in a row. And then he was screaming like I think Mahomes scored a rushing touchdown. I have the video, but I'll show it to you guys tomorrow when Dan's on. But he goes, "I'm so tired of this shit." Like after Mahomes had scored, that's what he yells out. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff happening right now in Kansas City.
Yeah, the way I pretty much wrote this at si.com, and we got the streaming spam. And check out my stories at si.com. Plug it. I was like, nobody cared that Mahomes got the deep ball going with Tyquan Thornton, the flame out from New England, and the second round pick. It's like, okay, like the Chiefs are still gonna win the game. And it's like, back in the day when Mahomes got the deep ball going, people got scared. When Mahomes got the ball back with 2 minutes to go, people got scared. Nobody cares, at least not with the Eagles. Like that game was, the second they got the fourth down, like it was funny too, watching the way they ruled Jalen Hurts short. I'm like, who cares? They're gonna go for it on fourth down and score anyway. That's automatic. What are we doing here? Just run the play and do it. Like the Chiefs just seemed helpless. They had no answer. They seemed like, oh man, they still got a fourth down. We got to do this all over again. We got lucky on the third down. Like that's not the Chiefs that I recognize. And then, like you have Kelsey making mistake after mistake. Like, like they're in this territory where it's starting to feel like maybe a wild card team, but they don't seem like an elite team. I still think they have a mental edge over the Ravens and the Bills because they need to prove it in January. But when you play the Eagles, like the Eagles are not losing any sleep over this team they've beat up twice now, and like they're getting their money's worth on the revenge from the Super Bowl was it in Phoenix? I think, in Arizona.
Yeah,
they lost that one, a close one, and they have been missing opportunity ever since to beat up that team.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and they're struggling. And the problem is I'm going to be honest with you, Gilbert. The way their Chiefs are playing right now, they could continue to struggle. They go at Giants, and I know at Giants, everybody's going to say, "Oh, it's just the Giants." Huh?
You better win that one, or people are really going to freak out.
That pass rush that the Giants feature, that's a dangerous pass rush. It's a Sunday night game. Russ is coming off of playing a really strong game against the Cowboys. I mean, and teams are throwing against the Chiefs. That's the thing. People aren't realizing you can throw against Kansas City. They're a good run-stopping team, but teams are passing against them. And I feel like that's what's going to fit into Mr. Unlimited's repertoire. At Chiefs, the Ravens come there. You go to the Jaguars. The Lions come there. The Raiders come there. The Commanders come there. So that's not an easy schedule, to say the least, especially with the way they're playing. But then after the Commanders come there, they go to Buffalo. Then they go to Denver. The Colts come there. They go to the Cowboys. Then the Texans come there. Then they play the Chargers again. So that's not as easy as of a schedule as everybody was saying a couple months ago. I mean,
but if they get to 3-3 and Rashee Rice is back, I
Oh
think that
yeah,
could solve a lot of their problems. But even getting to 3-3 is a big ass right now. But
yeah.
there is some hope for this team. I'm not ready to write them off like a lot of people are waiting and itching to do.
Yeah, no. They're still a very good team. And again, they're playing tough opponent. Like they're playing the Chargers. They just played the Eagles. They're playing some tough opponents to begin this season.
It's just
The
the way
back
they're
end,
getting beat up. It's just they're getting out muscled.
exactly.
They're not physical. They're complaining a lot. They're making dumb mistakes. That's not the Chiefs that I recognize.
Yeah, no. I even Andy Reid was complaining. By the way, did you see Sirianni at halftime? What he did or no?
I did not.
He was walking off with the referees talking all this shit, and one of the guys turns a big dumb and says, "Handle him." Okay, and then he like grabs him, and then he starts handling him. But I just started laughing at how they did that. But Jalen Carter's motor was up, man. Yesterday, a couple of times he kept on grabbing his wrist, and he just kept on staying in there. They're like, "Do you need a switch?" And he's like, "Nope." He's like, "I'm staying in here." So yeah, they're impressive. But the Eagles have holes, and you can tell. Like they have some holes on their team. They're not this perfect team from last year. But all right, let's move on now to Vic. Can you take this off real quick? Yesterday, the Broncos are up. They're playing good football. First half, Bo Nix had 3 touchdown passes, 22 of 30, 206, 3 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins, 14 carries, 76 yards and a touchdown. Troy Franklin, the receiver out of Oregon, 8 catches, 89 yards, 1 touchdown. But Gilbert, in the second half, the Colts come back after the it was 21-20 Denver going into halftime. They come back out, and there's only 3 field goals. There's only 16 points scored in the second half after almost 40 or after 41 were scored in the first half. Gilbert, everybody's talking about it. Schrader kicks I think it was a 60-yard field goal.
Yeah.
A lot of weird stuff by Shane Steichen. I was like, why are you just like, he kept on running the football and running the clock, and you're kind of like, what are we doing? Like, why is this happening? And they kick a field goal from 60 yards, Gilbert, and this is the result of what happened. Broncos fans obviously come out and say, I don't see a penalty. I think, Gilbert, the penalty is this guy right here. This guy right here. He grabs the long snapper. He moves his head down. Like, if you notice, he grabs him and he pulls him down so that this other guy, that guy can jump up and try and block the field goal. Gilbert, to me, that is a penalty. I know Broncos fans and some other people were, some other guys were saying that they didn't think it was. I thought it was. That obviously sets them up for a 45-yard field goal. Schrader hits it. The Colts upset the Broncos. Gilbert, your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, you will expect a better execution from a Darren Rizzi special teams-led team or special teams. But yeah, that looks like a penalty to me. It's just, it's a tough spot for an official. Do you make that play there? If you also did it in the home environment of the Colts, so maybe a little easier to get that flag out. If you're in Denver, maybe you don't do that. But yeah, you want to be consistent, and even then, like I don't have no sympathy for the Broncos. Like I get it. Maybe the Colts are my Vikings of 2024, but I'm not gonna give them any credit. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over that team. They're gonna lose in the first round if they even make it that far. But the Broncos blew that game. They had an 8-point advantage, and they probably should have extended that advantage to maybe 14, 16. And every time I was looking at the Broncos game, Bo Nix was missing a throw, or they couldn't find consistency in the running game. I got to be consistent with saying consistency. But there was too many opportunities there for the Broncos to put the game away, and they couldn't do it. Like, Shane Steichen, who was a most calm coach like in the NFL, was so animated in that game for competitive reasons, pissed off reasons, every kind of reason. Like, to him, he probably thinking like, how the hell did we win that game? Like, that was a sloppy game all around for both sides. But the Broncos kept making mistakes. They wouldn't put the Colts away, and the Colts, to the credit of Daniel Jones. And I'll say good things about Daniel Jones. Like, he's played clean football. Like, the way the mistakes and the chaos that the Broncos had, that was what Jones did a lot in New York. The Giants just had a bunch of mistakes. They couldn't execute properly, and he's doing that in Indy. He's trusting the scheme. Anthony Richardson will not trust the Steichen scheme. Daniel Jones is trusting it. Jonathan Taylor, or how many rushing yards you have? Here's more handoffs. Okay, I'm not going to screw anything up. Here you go. Tyler Warren,
165.
165.
Oh, and then he added Jonathan Taylor added 50 yards on through the air.
That's the perfect recipe for a game manager. Daniel Jones, lean on your playmakers, trust the play calls, trust the reads and the early reads, and trust the scheme. And that's what he's done so far. That's his credit to there. But the Broncos blew that game. That's the biggest takeaway I have from that one.
No, I completely agree with that. The Broncos were riding high in the first half. Second half, they couldn't do anything. I think the Colts tightened up their defense in the second half and were able to do better against them. Again, Gilbert, this is what I was saying from the beginning, is that there's no other playmakers. Like Marvin Mims, okay, 2 catches, 24 yards, 1 touchdown. Sutton had 1 catch for 6 yards.
Number one wide receiver, right?
Yeah, how are you going to move the football? And I get it. Yeah, Evan Ingram, they're big time third. I think it's like they're paying him 10, 11, 12 million dollars. 1 catch, 12 yards.
2 weeks of nothing.
Exactly. So that's kind of my thing, where these pass catch, they're not getting anything out of these guys, and that's where they're kind of struggling when it comes to moving the ball on the offensive side of the football. Bo Nix threw a bad pick. Also late in the game, he threw a bad pick. So yeah. I definitely and that was that. Okay, so thank you. That was
they dropped a few too. The Colts.
Yeah, no, they did. Yeah. The Colts dropped a couple of passes.
No, in terms of the Bo Nix passes.
Oh yeah. Picks. Yeah, 1,000%. But Gilbert, this is another thing too. Everybody was saying that the Broncos were going to have this great defense, but they allowed these guys to move the ball up and down on them. Patrick Shannon got hurt in one of those. I know he came back into the game, but that ankle is not going to be feeling good today, especially when the adrenaline wears off. They couldn't generate that much. Let me tell you how many times they sacked Daniel Jones once. They hit him 5 times.
That's what I said last week. Like if you have a special defense, like maybe that could help you carry a so-so offense, but they don't have that special defense, and they don't have a superstar quarterback. So to me, like, what do you really have in Denver? It's kind of, they seem like a 8 or 9 win team, maybe 10 if the defense helps out a little more.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and that's why I'm interested to see what Denver is moving forward, because they go to the Chargers, the Bengals come there. But now it's not even going to be Joe Burrow. Then they go to the Eagles. They go to the Jets. Oh, well, that's in London. And then Giants and Cowboys. That's
if the Broncos are competing for the 7th seed, they got lucky because the Bengals might not be around for that.
Yeah, exactly.
The Broncos just seem like a fringe wildcard team, but who's really the competition?
Yeah. Well, no, I was going to say now the Colts. By the way, the Colts have a huge opportunity tonight. If the Texans lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're up 2 games on them. That's huge.
If they don't win the division and they are in the wild card hunt, like, you have a head-to-head tiebreaker with the Broncos too. So these games do matter.
Yeah. You need to be out of here by 4, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us real quick before we bring Vic on. Bucks, Texans, who you got?
Bucks, Texans. I forgot who I picked. It's been such a long time. It feels like I think I went Texans home team, and I don't remember, but I'll go with Texans. This is a very intriguing game. It should be a close one.
I went with the Bucks.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. Chargers, Raiders. I went Chargers. 31-20. So I was 0-1 last week. So I don't know. I don't know why I said 31-20, but that's just the score that popped in my head.
11-point game. Okay.
Yeah.
The Brock Bowers thing kind of throws me off. I went with the Raiders to cover at 3.5, but obviously I chose the Chargers to win outright. So I'll stick with that. I think the Chargers win 33-30. I still believe in a shootout. I want to see a good game.
Damn, that's crazy. All right. A shootout. That'll be
top that game from Cowboys.
What's gonna be better, Saturday or tonight in Vegas at Allegiant?
Hopefully tonight. I didn't think that matchup was that entertaining on the boxing fight, at least.
I found it entertaining.
I was more shocked that the weight did not matter, but then I was like, yeah, that's a Terrence Crawford fight, and then Canelo can't keep up with guys like that. So I think the illusion of the weight threw me off, and I was like, Oh, he's in the ring with them. Oh, they kind of look like the same size. Oh, there's a Canelo that I know that gets frustrated with the crafty, skillful boxers like a Mayweather and a Bivol. And the way, I know we're not supposed to be analyzing the fight right now, but you could tell he was frustrated. It kind of felt like he gave up. I'm really attacking him now, but to be the pride of Mexico, I want to see a little more brawling and going out with your shield, and he didn't really do that to me.
It seemed like Crawford was the one
Yeah, he was
brawling.
trying to egg him on.
Yeah,
He wasn't afraid at
yeah,
all.
yeah. I know the wind was taken. The wind was taken out of the sails in the press room after the fight. No, everybody was like stunned, and I'm like, why are you guys stunned? Like, this guy's like, if anybody's fought nobodies lately, it's been Canelo. Crawford, at least. I mean, Crawford's been on a layoff, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think Canelo underestimated. Also, he probably thought the weight would be a big advantage, and it wasn't. I think that's why he took the fight.
You know who was there? Brenda. I just didn't get a video because I was talking to Paul Gutierrez in one of those, and Brenda Song and Macaulay Culkin were there. Again, amazing video. I don't know if you guys saw it. Did you see it?
Netflix, where I think he rejected a kiss and she got mad. Like,
yeah.
Like,
it was the stadium went bonkers. Like it was. I'm telling you, one of these days they're gonna do something where they mash up that Kevin married London Tipton, and that's gonna be Kevin McAllister married London Tipton, and that's gonna be funny.
He always has a huge pop at these fights.
By the way, the biggest pop that we got was that Devin Haney video where he gets booed. People,
and then you make a follow with the legend Chavez Sr. That was great.
That was amazing. I love that. I was like, all right, cool. So, I mean, I didn't know what I was going to be able to get or not. And then I was like, oh, celebrity, like people love to see who's at the fight. So I'm like, all right, I'll get the celebrities and see what people think of them. All right, let us get in Vic. And we got about 15 minutes with him. And then we will get out so we can enjoy.
Rob G, are you offended that your defense allowed 30 points to the Raiders? Come on.
Hold on, my bad. Here we go.
My predictions never come to life anyways. The Vikings, I was the only person I did that.
I still love last year that you had them going 3-14 and they end up going freaking.
They went home right after the one playoff game.
The whole division went home.
Oh, but Kevin O'Connell, this big quarterback whisperer, his quarterback stinks right now. Anyways,
that was ugly. And you know, first thing Dan says, but here we go, boy genius, like all these McVay disciples and all this, and I just start laughing.
That's a conversation for another day, but I think he's a little overrated.
Last night here in San Diego, they had a graphic of him on NBC San Diego, and they were like, which coach do you think is gonna be? Which coach would you kick out of these four? And it was Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay, Andy Reid, and Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, that's easy.
The two former coaches, or their two former players that are on there, and one of them goes Jim Harbaugh. He has a short shelf life, like he has 3-4 years in LA, and I'm sure he's out. And then the other guy went Sean McVay because they're like, he's gonna retire soon. He's gonna go to the booth. He's gonna be making all this money.
Really thinking about it then.
Oh yeah, no. Everybody thinks that either Collinsworth or Aikman is gonna retire soon, and that's gonna be McVay's spot. But I'm kind of like, to me, Kevin O'Connell's not as good as what you people think. Like Brian Flores is maybe the only thing that's keeping them
0-2 in the playoffs
afloat. Yeah, exactly. All right, Vic, how are you doing?
I'm having my flu game here. I'm down with the flu, but I'm here. I'm ready to ask some questions. So, yeah, good to go.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Maybe you ate what Mekhi Becton and Deion Henley have eaten in the last few days.
Probably.
Both of them have. Well, no, Mekhi was illness last weekend, and then this week it's Deion Henley. But all right,
Brazil food catching up a week later.
All right. I saw Gilbert's story. Go and check it out. But he was talking about Joe Burrow, and I wanted to ask you guys just because I thought it was a really good thing he brought up there. Are the Bengals wasting Joe Burrow's prime with a third injury in 4 years? Or start off with you, Gilbert, because you wrote about this.
Yeah, you're going to get me going here. But I've been saying, like, the only thing I get right is the Bengals are super overrated. Stop buying into the Bengals because they have, Burrow and Chase and T. Higgins. That's so enough, right, to get to the Super Bowl and make the playoffs. And they haven't made the playoffs in 3 years. And yeah, they're not going to make it this year. I'm already going to say that. Go ahead and clip this. But Jake Browning having to face the Broncos, Vikings, Packers, Lions the next 4 weeks. Good luck with that. The point is, they are wasting Joe Burrow's prime because it's not a coincidence that he keeps getting hurt in games. You have a terrible offensive line. You haven't built the O-line. You're paying T. Higgins. You're paying Jamar Chase. I get it. Maybe you pay Jamar Chase, but you got to let one go. Like, the Bills don't have a star wide receiver that they're paying. Josh Allen is doing just fine, right? Lamar Jackson is not paying a star receiver money. He's doing just fine. Mahomes is not doing fine right now, but he's not paying a star receiver either. So why did the Bengals really need to pay 2 wide receivers when you can't protect the quarterback? You can't protect leads defensively. Jake Browning was 4-3 2 years ago when he was keeping the team afloat. They missed the playoffs, by the way, but he kept them afloat. This team might be worse for Jake Browning 2 years later. They have not improved in any way outside of keeping Chase, Higgins, and Burrow. So to me, this is the most overrated team in football. I feel bad for Joe Burrow. His team is not helping him out, but also he's a problem. Like, you gotta speak up and say, I need better linemen. I need better defense. And you're just trying to look out for your receiver boys. Overall, the Bengals are just wasting a good thing here. And, I think Burrow is a great player. People were giving me crap last week. We're saying he's part of the Big Four. Maybe people are right. Maybe you shouldn't be a part of the Big Four when he can't stay healthy and the team can't protect them.
He's going to speak up in a couple months when Zach Taylor's fired and he wants Joe Brady in there after Joe Brady wins the Super Bowl. And that's what I'm telling you, is that he throws his weight around, but he throws it at the wrong thing. I don't know if Joe Burrow believes that he can't do it with it. Well, I understood keeping Jamar Chase, but clearly, like, the guy that made the one-handed catch, there's other guys that have done well for them receiving wise, but his biggest problem is, where the hell's my offensive line? They keep on bringing in old players and recycling guys and paying guys next to nothing. David, shout out to you guys in Calexico. Appreciate, by the way, great Chinese food out in Calexico. I went to a place when Dan had a game last year. We went to a Chinese spot there, hole in the wall. Oh my God, some of the best Chinese.
By the way, right over the border there, they have the best Chinese food in the world. In Mexicali.
Yeah, Mexico. Yeah, I keep on telling you.
Giant plates, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah. What? Why? Because I'm big?
No, for anybody, for little guys.
Sure. Just fat shaming. Where's Dan when I need him? Let me see if the bat signal works. No, but going back to it, Joe Burrow's a problem too. What incantation are you throwing my way? But he is part of the problem as well, is that they've depleted the funds from the defense. Yeah, they paid Hendrickson, but that's one lonely dude on the defensive side. Their corners are not good. Their safeties are not good. Like, they're missing a lot. That's why the people think, oh, Jake Browning's going to be fine. Like Gilbert said, no, he's not going to be fine. This team is worse. The defense helped them back in that time where he had to take over, and now that they're not going to have that. So I truly think that the Bengals are going to struggle. They're going to struggle to move the football. They're going to struggle to win games. Yes, he was able to get it yesterday. Jake Browning was, but he threw 3 picks. Like,
the Jaguars of all.
No, and the Jaguars gave that game away. Why the hell did you go for it on 4th and 3? And then Brian Thomas Jr. drops that pass. Like, what are you doing? So I think Joe Burrow is part of the problem as well. But the problem, when you have an owner that's not willing to shell out money and not willing to do other stuff like that, that's what you're going to get. And the problem is they've listened too much now to Joe Burrow, and now the offensive side of the football is packed with his guys, and now the defense is depleted, and they're not going to be able to win games. But that's why I told you, Zach Taylor is going to be gone this year. They're going to say, no, you should have done it. They're not going to keep him. And then I think Joe Burrow is going to be like, well, look, Joe Brady is coming off, like Fernando predicted, winning a Super Bowl. Go get him, bring him in here, and we can do this thing when they're
playing out for you, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm telling you what's going to happen. But winner go home highlights. How are you doing? But yeah, I completely, Gilbert, there's no way I can say, no, this isn't, like, they're not wasting it. I think it's both of them, though. I think all three of each other, they're wasting themselves. Mike Brown's wasting wasting not paying guys and putting a good team around him. Zach Taylor's not coaching like he is, like his hair's on fire. And then Joe Burrow obviously trying to keep guys that he shouldn't be. T. Higgins should have been let go. Why are you going to pay him that money? Let him go.
Fernando, I know we got to get going, but if you're going to operate this way, at least draft better. And they can't draft better. They don't know how to get like Even the Cowboys know how to draft better by operating this way. They drafted Micah Parsons to their credit. They drafted some good linemen, but what the hell do the Bengals do during the draft? I can't name a player they drafted outside the top 5 or 10, besides maybe T. Higgins in the second round, that they did well. They just don't know how to find talent.
Yeah, and they haven't hit on their defensive guys. They pretty much drafted defensive guys. I think they win one draft where they pretty much drafted all defensive guys, and none of them have panned out. I mean, the only ones that have panned out have been the guys from their on defense that they went and they traded for. Or
speaking
signed.
of that, did you see how bad the Patriots draft from last year is?
Oh yeah, remember I told you guys about the last 3? It's been terrible there.
They
That's
basically
why
they gifted Tarheeb Still and Ladd McConkey to the Chargers essentially.
They were pissed.
And then on top of that, they basically let Keenan Allen come back. So like that's it's crazy to see the way all these teams operate. But all right,
all right, next one. You guys were talking about the Eagles and how they got an ugly win against the Chiefs there. So the Packers on Thursday night, they dominated the Commanders. It comes out that Jaden Daniels might have hurt his knee there, but they had a big convincing win. The Commanders looked just awful in that game, and part of it is because that Packers team looks way different with Micah Parsons now. So are the Packers the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC?
Well, and also we have to remember Austin Eckler's now gone. Terry McLaurin's still not in shape.
Yep.
So it's looking ugly for the Commanders. Part of me wants to say no, just because I'm telling you guys, Tampa's going to get it going once all these guys are back. I feel like they're going to be the team that's going to compete. The thing is, you don't want to peak too early, and it kind of seems like the Packers are peaking a little early. And we've seen it before. I mean, we've been speaking about it the last 2 weeks with Miami, 70 points against the Denver Broncos, and they I think they didn't make the playoffs. Did they make it? And then that was the helmet game with Mahomes where they were in the cold and he got his head. Mahomes's
the
helmet chip.
Dolphins made it.
Yeah, they made it, but they were a wild card, and then they went to that cold ass game in Kansas City. No, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, okay, you just don't want to peak early, and I feel like that's where the Packers don't want to be. One of their guys got hurt, the little receiver. Was it Reed?
Jaden Reed.
Yeah, that kid's good, but he's now hurt. They have some pieces, but I still have questions about their secondary, their pass rushes. Hell, it's so good. But as of right now, just because it's only 2 weeks in, I'm going to say no. I still think it's Tampa Bay, but I think Green Bay is very good. And if they can really get it going, Christian Watson comes back and he plays at a high level and Reed's able to come back, then I think they will be a very viable threat. But as of right now, I just want to hold off a little bit. I know they play in a couple of weeks, so I'm excited to see that. I think it's week 8 or something like that. They play each other, but I'm definitely excited to see if the Eagles and Packers play each other in a couple of weeks. But I again, it's a close second, but right now it's still Tampa Bay.
Gilbert?
Yeah, this is an easy no, and I get it. The Packers blew out the Lions, but you're asking me biggest threat to the Eagles. Matchup wise, I think the Lions have a better chance than the Packers. Like the Lions have a good old line. They have a physical defense. Maybe Hutchinson starts to figure out a little more, and he's their Micah Parsons. I know Hutchinson's coming from a big injury, but they got guys like Brian Branch and Jack Campbell, Dan's boy. I think the Lions, after they whooped down those Bears 52-21, they're not going anywhere. So that was premature because they lost to the Packers. The Buccaneers are going to be right there. I'm with you, Fernando. I even like the this is where you're getting carried away. The Falcons look good, but I'm talking about that division.
Their pass rush is swallowing up.
I'm going to give credit to Raheem Morris for going and getting edge rushers. That's going to be a story for tomorrow. Sorry, what was that, Vic?
I said I thought I was going to get credit for picking them to have the most wins there.
Yeah, and Victor, that's your division winner.
In, Vic.
But I got to see a little more because Michael Penix Jr. didn't have the best game. There was just pretty much Bijan in defense, which is a good recipe. But yeah, even the Rams, like if the Rams go in there in week 3 and punch them in the mouth and maybe steal that one, maybe it is the Rams. But I still think the Eagles have their number. We'll find out. But there's just too many teams, and it's too early to just say it's the Packers because Fernando's on to something. I got to see more from the Packers offense. Jordan Love, yeah, he had a decent game against Washington, but against a better defense, who are your receivers? Josh Jacobs has been so far. Is that O-line okay? They were banged up last week. And I'll say this about the Commanders, man. The Commanders and the Packers, they just changed roles pretty much. So the Commanders got lucky to beat the Lions, but they were at least in the big boy conversation. The Packers were never in it because they lost to the Vikings twice, they lost to the Lions twice, they lost to the Eagles twice. But now they shifted roles here with the Commanders. I'm like, yeah, you go out and you chase Micah Parsons, right? That's smart. He's in his prime, young player. You don't go and chase washed players like Lerma Tunso and Debo Samuel.
Von
you have
Miller.
Other guys like that where you have a draft class of 4 people. Like this team got old, and then Marshawn Lattimore is not good anymore. All these trades for older players is not paying off. I know I'm going on a different topic here, but it's not the Commanders. I'll say that. But the Packers are good. They have my respect.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I was gonna ask him. I was gonna be a jackass and ask him a question. No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I'm with you guys. I think you still need a show. I get it. Like, I think the reason why people are hyping them up is because they beat 2 playoff teams from last year, the Lions. The way they took care of business with them, and then you come back on a short week. I think that's part of it too. That I don't take a lot away from it because it was a short week. Now go and continue to do this, and I'm with you guys. I think there's still things on offense that I want to see from this team before I think they're the biggest threat. And then part of it is they faced them twice the last 2 years, the Eagles, and they don't match up well. And I kind of like what Gilbert said. They do much better with the Lions in that perspective. All right, last one here, guys, and we'll get out of here.
We definitely appreciate all the support and all the love. By the way, are you going there week 5 or no? Are you coming to base? My bad. He said, always catch y'all late. Always a pleasure. Rams defense will take it to Levi. And then AFC West is no longer Chiefs Kingdom. So definitely interesting.
You asking me about the 49ers?
I know you're like your Sundays are madness, but I thought you'd want a glimpse of Jaden Daniels at SoFi.
Oh, no. But I think the first game I'm going to is that 49ers Rams Thursday night game in October. Prime time
Oh,
game.
there we go.
I might try and make an appearance of that game then.
Yeah. All right, guys. Last one here. Which team should trade for Kirk Cousins, or should the Falcons keep him rest of the year?
Ooh, so which team should trade for Kirk Cousins, or Falcons should keep him? Yeah, don't
so
keep
the Bengals he's out for 3 months. The Jets, it's a concussion, so I think Justin Fields will be fine. JJ McCarthy, he ain't going back to Minnesota, but that's a 2 to 4 week. That's what I told you guys in the group
chat. Wait to see how Wentz looks, because if he looks awful, I can see them trading for him.
Well, yeah, but 2 to 4 weeks. That means you come back for that Eagles game, and then in 4 days you have to come to the Chargers to go play the Jim Harbaugh and Jesse Minter. That's going to be a tough ask for this kid to do that. But those are the 3 injuries, right? And then Jaden Daniels. Oh, so 2 of them are his former team, and the other 2 are that's fun. That's great. Go ahead, Gilbert.
Yeah. Well, first of all, have they said when Jaden Daniels got hurt? Because I noticed in the end of that garbage time game, and I was just watching because I see if I get a cover in that stupid game, he like got hurt by forcing that game. Like they could have just thrown the towel. So it did not look good. So when I saw the reports today, I was like, oh, I'm not surprised. I wonder if it happened on that play in garbage time for Jaden Daniels. But
did they say how long?
No, they haven't. It's been day to day.
They said it's not serious.
I think
not serious. It'd still be 2. That's what they said about JJ, and that's 2 to 4 weeks.
And then Mariota hasn't done much either. Like I kind of want to say maybe the former teams have a good chance, the Commanders or the Vikings. The Vikings, because it's not JJ McCarthy just being out. He just hasn't looked that great. I know he stepped up in that Chicago game for 1 quarter, and it was just him playing backyard football and stepping up and being a gamer. Like that. Those are good points. Those are to have heart like that and be confident. But he's not a good passer right now. He doesn't know how to read defenses. He's too slow to react. He overthrows passes. And Raheem Morris and Jeff Ulbrich, man. Jeff Ulbrich, who came back to prominence after his son had that thing about Shedeur Sanders, a phone call. But now he's back in the news for good reason. And they really just, picked apart JJ McCarthy. So what if the whisperer, Kevin O'Connell's thinking like, yeah, he's not ready. So is that even something doable where you bring in Kirk Cousins to, be the shadow and just in case you suck, JJ. So that's my pick. I think Vikings could do it. It's just the money is a problem too. How much are you willing to give up? And we've already seen the Falcons owner pretty much saying, I'm not going to lose $100 million for nothing. Can you give me a 3rd round pick or something? Like they're holding on for dear life or something like that. I don't think they're going to get it, but maybe you do it for a 5th round pick.
I don't think
Fernando, before you go, let me give you one more incentive here. and they brought it up in the broadcast last week. And how much does Justin Jefferson have a say in this? Because they kept bringing it up, and I was like, why do they keep bringing this up? So,
I know where you're going with this.
Go ahead, Fernando.
No, where Vic is going with it is that Justin Jefferson has shown his frustration. They said that he was very positive last week against the Bears, that he was like, come on, dude, we're going to do this. We're going to do it. And then this week, that's not what I saw during that game. I saw a very frustrated Justin Jefferson. And that's the thing, Gilbert and Vic, when you sign these big long-term deals, do they have a plan for the quarterback position? Like, how, if you're Justin Jefferson, do you sign this deal not knowing if they have something ready to go and if they have a contingency plan when it comes to the quarterback position? They're basically hoping that this kid does it, but we all knew the deficiencies of him coming out of college. A lot of people called him a freaking run game merchant, where he would just hand it off to Blake Corum and all these guys at Michigan, and when they asked him to make some throws, he could make some throws, but it was Coastal Loveland. It was some of these good receivers not great receivers that they had at Michigan. But that's the thing. And Justin Jefferson's going to get frustrated. I think his first catch was towards the end of the first half, where he makes a good play and then they sets him up in the field goal range. You kick a field goal, but 6 points, he doesn't get into the end zone. He's going to get frustrated. Then you're going to bring in Carson Wentz, who hasn't been relevant since Big Dick Nick Foles took his position, took his team to the Super Bowl and won it, and then flashed the ring in his face. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, the only saving grace for Carson Wentz maybe is that last year he was with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Maybe he took something away from that.
He was with the Rams too for a bit.
Yeah, who knows if he went to quarterback rehab and now he's going to be fine. Now, that's my question, though. What if Wentz comes out and he's balling and he's playing well? Will he bench him for the young kid, or is the young kid is it the young kid show no matter when he goes and comes back? But I'll say one of his former teams does it. I won't say which one, but I think one of his former teams, he'll be on one of his former teams if he is traded. But again, I truly think that Kirk Cousins has kind of built himself, and hey, I still don't think the Falcons completely trust Penix to stay healthy, and that's why they're going to keep on. They're going to keep him for the long term. But I agree with Gilbert. I really think I was really impressed by the Falcons yesterday. The only thing is they're not scoring as many touchdowns, and then right when they get in the red zone, why didn't you give it to Bijan to score the touchdown? Why give it to Allegri? But I digress. But yeah, I truly think that all these four teams are in a hole, because quickly, if the Commanders go 0-3 in their next, if they lose next weekend, Jaden Daniels is going to rush himself back, and he could potentially get hurt for the long term. But my bad. That's a long-winded answer, but I think one of his former teams ends up trading for him.
It's Tyler Algier, Fernando, not Allegri.
Algier, Allegri. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
That's it for me, guys.
All right.
Well, we appreciate NyQuil now.
There you go. You're gonna need it, Vic. So you're going to bed right now?
Yeah, you got a double header.
No, sorry, some DayQuil. I meant I'm gonna go take a couple.
The Raider game tonight.
You know, Vic. You know what you should do? Charlie Sheen did it in he was sick during an episode of 2.5 Men. It was he put vodka and NyQuil. He called it the Incredible Hulk. There you go.
Not Tiger Blood or what was it? Whatever that drink was.
Yeah, exactly.
7 p.m. kickoff, man. That's insane.
I know, for real. All right. I'm basically, I told Dan, I was like, hey, I need you for the pod tonight. Like we have to do. So I think if in the fourth quarter it's favorable for the Chargers, it might be a watch along the final few minutes, and then we discuss and Dan goes off to bed, because he's a man of schedule. He needs that beauty sleep. That face doesn't. It needs some time to relax. But all right, appreciate everybody so much for checking out another episode of Lunes Live. We had a bunch of people in here. You guys are the best. I know Monday Night Football is now kicked off with the Texans and the Bucks. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in with us. Next Monday, I think we're back to our normal schedule of 3:30 p.m. Today we had to back it up just because it is Monday Night Football earlier. And then tomorrow, the Four Compas, 5:30. Make sure you guys tune in. And then I'm sure tomorrow we'll let you guys know what the rest of the schedule is for House of Horns and What's Up Bolts. Again, appreciate you guys so much. You guys are the best. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Everybody go check out on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts, all the videos that we got from the Canelo Crawford fight. There's a lot of really good stuff. Like I told these guys, and one of those, Teofimo Lopez looks at me and he goes, hey, roll the camera, roll it. You're going to want to catch this. And I'm like, all right. So I roll, and he basically, Shakur Stevenson and him agreed to a fight in January. So that'll be interesting. But again, thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. Gilbert, why don't you get us out of here?
Yeah, it's time to get out of here. But yeah, check out all the content on Compas on the Beat, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Fernando was at the fight, just all over the place getting content. So definitely check that out.
I got to meet Chance the Rapper. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that video actually made me laugh, Fernando, because you're like, why'd you pick Crawford? Like, you kind of were a little aggressive, and he's like, oh, because it's mean. And, yeah, that one made me laugh. I'm like, I did not expect to see an interview with Chance the Rapper and Fernando, but I'm glad I did. But yeah, check out all the content. Compas on the Beat. Your boy Fernando's delivering. He's all over the place. But it's time to get going. Enjoy the doubleheader. Ya nos vamos, pues. Vámonos.